Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Nicole with Made from Scrap. Do the walkthrough of this 10 by 10 folio that I made using the Graphic 45 paper collection that is Hip Hooray. And this is a new collection that just came out, available at Country Craft Creations. Check out the description box below to see all the fabulous products that I have used that are available at the shop. This has also a spine here that measures 1.5 inches, and you can see the cute little ephemera pieces that I've used. Seam binding here, a couple more ephemera pieces, this beautiful lace all around, and one of the 4x6 cut aparts that I added to the front cover here. And then on the back I just used the piece of the collection. Then when you open this up, you're going to see the matching pages on either side. So let me just fumble around with this a little bit. That's okay. But it's a mirror image on either side, and I did this paper collection like some color blocking here. So we'll start with the right hand side. Life is Better with Friends here. This is a magnet closure here. I have a fun little tuck spot here using the ephemera piece. So I'll open that up, and then you have this piece right here that's on top that you can open up this way. You have plenty of space for photographs. You can open it again, but this is also a pocket page, so you can put a wonderful spread in here, and I just left the back blank, but there's plenty of space for photos throughout this whole thing. So this is the back side. Then you can also open it this way, and you can see that there's a couple of fun little pockets here on the right hand side, a beautiful open space for more photos. I've created a couple of fun matting here where I added the ephemera piece, just glued it down a little bit so that you can still tuck a photo in underneath there. And then I used the 4x6 cards that come with the collection, so you can put a photo on the back sides of those as well. And those will just tuck right here in the pocket, and then a double pocket. So then once you have that, you can flip this whole piece over, and you have these large places for beautiful photos. Telling you, an 8 by 10 will have to be cut down, but you can definitely, because the whole album is 10 inches, right? But you can do something like a 5 by 7, 8, you know, something of that sort. You open this up again, you have this fun huge spread here with this large pocket. I put a couple more photo mats in here, so a couple of 4x4s. I left it open on the top and the bottom of these ephemera pieces, so you could put the photos right in there and just use that beautiful paper. And then here you have a couple of 2x2s with a 4x6 down at the bottom. And then here I did the same thing with the ephemera piece, just glued it only on one side, and you can see I stacked a couple of ephemera pieces here, another one here, and then just did some paper piecing so you could have a portrait style 4x6 there. And these tuck right in just like so. I've used some of the rub-ons throughout as well. Then this will open up again, and we have a fun little pocket here, so you can have a really large layout, and maybe I'll do that one as well. But you also have a spot here that you can open up these two flaps and then stick a lot of more photos in here just as a holding area, right? So lots of space for photos. I think this is going to be beautiful for a baby album, honestly, so that you have a quarter of the year in each section, right? Okay, so the construction is mirrored on this side. So Hip Hooray, we open up this magnetic closure. We have a fun little tuck spot here that we've created. This opens up like so, and you have the double pockets. So we have a couple more photo mats here. You have large open space here for photos. You can pull this over to the right, another rub-on here, lots more rub-on here, lots more space. Open this up again, beautiful opening here for the with the paper for more photos, and then a couple of photo mats in, again, this large pocket here. So a couple more 2x2s, 4x6 you can tuck in there. Used a little bit of rub-on, a little ephemera piece here. On the back side, same thing with some paper piecing and an ephemera piece. You could tuck a photo underneath there. Here with this, I just used my, on this decorative paper, I used my straight edge and just cut around this section of the photo so that I could make a cute little tuck spot here. And then I can put a couple of odds and ends in there. And then I have a couple more spaces for 4x4s on the back side here. So that just goes right in this pocket here. Okay, and then this will open up yet again, and we have this large space again for photos. I guess I forgot to do the matting on both of those. Maybe I need to do that. A little rub on here, and then of course this opens up so that, again, you can stick more loose photos there or do a layout. Either way, I just think it's beautiful. So this closes up like so. You have the magnet closure just like that. You have this fun piece on the spine here with all the flags. And that is it. I decided not to use any of these flowers on the front, so I will be making, I think, a banner to go along with the Hip Hip Hooray out of the leftover pieces that I have available, but I'll definitely be using the flowers on that. So I hope that you've enjoyed this, and you check out, give me a thumbs up on the tutorial if you liked making this project. It does help my channel in using the links below to their affiliate links, and I look forward to seeing you back here real soon. Until next time, everyone, happy scrapping you all. Goodbye. Okay, so let's get started with the tutorial. So first thing is that I have 2 sheets of heavyweight chipboard here, and these both measure 10 by 10. Okay. Have those cut, and then I have one piece that is for the spine, and that measures 1.5 inches by 10 inches. So that's the spine piece. So now moving on to the cardstock, and this takes 1 pack of artisan cardstock. So I have 1 sheet left. So that would mean 24 sheets and of cardstock. That is 12 by 12. I do have a bunch of cuts left over, so I'll probably make a little mini album from those cuts, but let's get started with this anyhow. So the first 2 things that you need are 2 sheets that measure 12 by 12, and this is going to be for covering the chipboard pieces of our cover. And then we need 1 piece that measures 4.5 inches wide by 12 inches. Okay. And that is going to be for our spine piece. We need 1 piece that measures 4 inches by 9 7/8 inches, and that is going to be for our inside of our spine. And I'm just going to go ahead and put those together and put them off to the side with my covers. Okay, and next we're going to work on the pages. First, we're going to start with the left flap, and I'm going to make 2 of these, so both of these are the same. We're going to cut this down to 10.5 inches by 12 inches, and then we're going to put this, I'm going to go ahead and score these at the same time, okay? So I'm going to score this on the 12-inch side at 1/2 inch. Like that, and 10 inches. Okay, and both of these are going to be exactly the same. So 1/2 inch and 10 inches. Okay, and as I score, I just stack my papers right on top of each other. All right, next we're going to have 2 for the right flap. And this is going to measure 9.5 by 9.5. And so then we're going to go ahead and score that at 1/2 inch. Or you can score it at 9 inches, one or the other, but either way, you're going to have one side with a 1/2 inch score line. Okay. Next, we're going to have the pocket, and this is a piece that measures 10.5 inches by 4.5 inches. And we're going to go ahead and score that with the 10.5 inch side at the top of your scoreboard at 1/2 inch and 10 inches. This is a pocket, so we're going to score it on 3 sides, which means on the 4.5 inch side, we're going to score it at 1/2 inch as well. Okay, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing for the second piece. At 1/2 inch. Okay, that's our pocket. Next we're going to have a couple of pieces that is basically going to be a deconstructed envelope, and I have 4 of those, and so those are going to measure 7 inches by 3.5 inches, and on the 3.5 inch side we're going to score that at 1/2 inch. And that's it. And we're going to do the same thing with all 4 of these pieces. Okay, and one more. All right. Next, we're going to start making our pocket booklet pages. And for this, we're going to have 2 pieces that are going to be I'm calling them our back flaps. And those measure 8 inches wide by 8 3/4 inches tall. And on the 8 inch side, we're going to go ahead and score this at 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. All right. Again, the second piece with the 8 inch at the top, we're going to score it at 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. All right. Next we have the pocket page, and this should measure 7 3/4 inches wide by 9 3/4 inches tall. And on the 7 3/4 inch side, we're going to go ahead and score that at 1/2 inch. And then we're going to turn it so that we have the 9 3/4 inch side at the top, and we're going to score that at 1/2 inch. And 9 1/4 inches. 1/2 inch and 9 1/4 inches. And I'm going to do that to my second piece as well. So on the 7 3/4 inch side, I'm going to score that at 1/2 inch. Rotate it so that I have the 9 3/4 inches at the top, and score that at 1/2 inch and 9 1/4. Next is going to be the page flaps, and I have 4 of these, and they measure 7 3/4 inches by 8 3/4 inches. And on the 7 3/4 inch side, we're going to score this at 1/2 inch. Okay, and we're going to do that with all 4 of them. That. And one more. Make sure you have the 7 3/4 inch at the top. All right, moving along, we're going to have 2 pieces that are going to be for a pocket, and those are going to measure just short of 8 1/4 inches. So I have cut mine in between 8 1/8 and 8 1/4. And on that side, the short 8 1/4 side, we're going to score that at 1/2 inch. And then what you want to do is rotate it all the way around and score it again at 1/2 inch. Okay, and then you want to turn it again, because this is a pocket. You're going to have the 4 inch side at the top of your scoreboard and score it at 1/2 inch. We're going to do exactly the same thing all over again. Now remember, when you cut pages for pockets that are just shy of a measurement, you want to make sure to turn it around so that you maintain that little sliver off of the measurement. All right, so next we're going to move along to what is going to be the closure, because we're going to be using 2 magnets sets for this. So I have 2 pieces that are cut at 3 1/4 inches. I'm not sure what I got on my paper. 3 1/4 inches by 5 inches. And on the 5-inch side, we're going to go ahead and score that at 1/2 inch. And then I want you to also score that at 5/8 of an inch as well. Okay. So my second piece, score it at 1/2 inch and 5/8 inches. All right, moving on, we have what I'm calling the top pocket, and that is going to measure just shy, again, of 8 1/4 inches by 2 1/2 inches. And so same thing, we want this to be a little bit of a short measurement, so we want to score it at 1/2 inch, rotate it all the way around, and score it again at 1/2 inch. And then I want you to go ahead and turn it so that you have the 2 1/2 inches at the top, and you're going to score that at 1/2 inch. Okay. This is a duplicate, so we're going to do exactly the same thing. Get around. And that was our top pocket. All right, lastly, we're going to move on to the mats and the inserts. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and put a paper clip on all of those page pieces. So for the folded mat, I'm going to have 2 pieces that measure 8 3/4 inches wide by 11 inches tall. And I'm going to place that in my scoreboard with the 11 inches at the top, and I'm going to go ahead and score that at 4 1/2 inches. Okay. And I have 2 of those, so I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Right. Next is the pocket booklet insert, and I'm going to have 2 pieces, because I'll have 2 pocket booklets, that measure 7 1/4 inches wide by 7 3/4 inches tall, and those receive no score lines. Next, we're going to have the pocket inserts, and these measure 4 1/2 inches wide by 8 3/4 inches tall, and I have 2 of those, and we don't have any score lines on that. Then I have 2 additional inserts, and those measure 6 1/2 inches wide by 6 3/4 inches tall. And I have 2 of those, no scoring. And then getting down to the bottom, we have 2 pieces that measure 4 1/2 inches wide by 6 3/4 inches tall. Again, no scoring. And then last insert, we have 2 pieces that measure 4 1/2 inches wide by 6 1/2 inches tall. All right. And that is all of the inserts. So actually with the inserts, we only had the very first 2 that we had a score line on. So I'm going to go ahead and start with those, burnishing those. And then I'm going to clip all of my inserts together. So now I have all of those together, and I'm going to go ahead and start with our page pieces in folding and burnishing those. So I flip my stack over so I can start with the left flap, what I was calling the left flap, and we're really just going to go ahead and burnish all of our score lines there. All right. Just stacking them up on each other again as I rotate down through the list of cut pieces. So that I'm keeping them in order. You will need to pull out your scissors as we get to the pocket piece. The first pocket piece, we're going to go ahead and cut out the corners here, so you see the intersecting score lines right there, and it creates a little square at the bottom, and we're going to go ahead and cut those out. So I cut out the entire width of that score line, and then that leaves us with these side pieces for the pocket that we'll burnish. And then we need to fold the bottom, that 1/2 inch that's at the bottom as well. Okay, and then we have our pocket right there. So let's do that on the second one. Cut out those squares. Fold back the sides. Fold up the bottom and then burnish it all really well. All right. Next are those little deconstructed flaps. I'm going to have 4 of those. Burnishing all 4 of those. Then we're going to have our pocket booklet page, which is the back flap. Making sure to burnish this really well, which is going to be our 1/4 inch gusset on this one. Like that, worked it really well. And do the second one. And I'm burnishing in both directions so that this flap with the gusset works really well. Okay. Next, we're going to have our pocket page, and this was the one that we scored it on 3 sides. So here what we want to do is we also have the intersecting score lines here, and we're going to go ahead and cut those off. Okay, those 2 corners, just like that. But this time actually going to, well, we're just burnishing for right now, so we'll get to the instructions shortly, Nicole, on how to put it together. Let's finish burnishing everything. Corner, cut out that corner. Getting to the bottom here. These are my flap pages. Flap pages. So I have 4 of those. All right. And then we're going to have our pocket. Okay. Did you be good boy? So go get some water, honey. Get some water. Go get some water. Binding method, and I have a link in the description box below to putting that together. Okay, and you can go ahead and check that out if you're not familiar with the lay flat method. We're first going to center this chipboard piece on the cover pieces, and then we're going to use our spine piece and center that, so we'll end up with 1 inch at the top and bottom and 1.5 inches on the side of our spine piece. Then we end up wrapping the cover and then put it together. So I'm going to go ahead and put that together. Make sure you click on the link below, and then I will be right back to put the pieces together with you all. Okay, let's go ahead and put this project together. So we have our base, our lay flat cover, and I'm going to grab the stack of scored and cut items that are for the pocket booklet pages, and we're going to be starting out with this flap. The back flap is what I called it, and it measures 8 inches by 8 3/4 inches tall. And you shouldn't have this score line down here. That's what I messed up on. I initially scored it the wrong way. But you make sure that you score like it says in the cut guide. And then what we're going to do is that first 1/2 inch right there, we're going to fold it back, and then we're going to place glue on that 1/2 inch strip. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and place this down so that it's on this back chipboard piece on the inside of your album. And I'm just centering it top to bottom. So basically what you want to make sure of is make sure that you don't go setting this piece into that gusset that is the bending spot right between your back cover and your spine piece. Okay. So just ever so slightly, just like that. I think I'm over a little bit too much. All right. So now I have that 1/2 inch glued down, just like that. But we have the 1/4 inch gusset on that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to leave that like so. Next, I'm going to grab the pocket page. Okay, this is the page that measures 7 3/4 inches wide by 9 3/4 inches tall. We scored it on the 3 sides, so we're going to fold over the top and bottom, then fold over this left side. We're going to go ahead and place glue on all of those 1/2 inch flaps. Okay. And then we're going to glue the folded edge to the piece that we just put down, but make sure that you don't overlap onto that 1/4 inch gusset. Okay, you should see the 1/4 inch gusset, and your pages should align over here on the right hand side. Okay, top and bottom, and then right hand side, and that's going to create your pocket page. Okay. Like that. We have our pocket page there. Okay. All right. Next, you're going to have the flap pages. So flap pages. So you should have 2 of these for this section. Okay. You cut 4 overall, but this measures 7 3/4 inches wide by 8 3/4 inches tall, and we have that 1/2 inch flap. We're going to place glue on that. Okay, and then we're going to align that folded edge to what's going to be the bottom of our pocket page. Okay, so align that top and bottom. Again, it's going to be even over here on the right hand side, and it should also be even on the left with your folded edge. There, okay. That's going to create that flap. Okay. All right. Then we're going to take that next flap page, same measurement, but we're going to put the flap on the opposite side so that it opens the opposite direction. Okay. So let's go ahead and place glue on the back side of that 1/2 inch strip again. And this time we're going to have the folded edge to the right side. Just place it right down on top of that last one. Okay, line it up. And burnish it down. Make sure it's all the way over to the edge. Open it up. There you go. Okay. All right, next you're going to leave that open, and we should have the pocket and the top pocket. So let's start first with the pocket. This one was the piece that measured just shy of 8¼ inches wide by 4 inches tall. Okay, and we're going to fold in our sides and then fold up the bottom and go ahead and place glue on those 1/2 inch flaps there. Okay, and this is going to get placed right on the back side of this flat piece. Okay, right at the bottom. You had to do it a little bit smaller, cut it a little bit smaller than 8¼ so that we are lined up with the outside edge and we don't overlap the score line here on our left. Okay, so give that a good burnish. Then we have our top pocket, and that had measured just shy of 8¼ inches again by 2½ inches. And we put a score line down here at the bottom, but we did not fold it. We only fold in the side pieces, just like that. We're going to go ahead and place glue on those flaps. And then we're going to tuck this bottom piece down into that bottom pocket, just like that. Align to the outside edge and burnish that down. Okay, now you have those double pockets right there on that flap. That closes like so. You can burnish that again. Then you're going to have this piece that opens this way, and then you're going to have this whole piece that opens that way as well. All right, now we have that open. Now we're going to come back to we're going to grab 2 of your deconstructed pieces. So these measured 7 inches wide by 3½ inches, and you should have one fold that's going to be on the top. I'm going to place glue on that 1/2 inch fold, and I'm going to center this right at the top here. Okay, just like that. Just like that. And then the other one is going to go at the bottom. Center it like this. I can use my ruler here just to make sure that they are straight, lined up with each other. And if you wanted to do anything decorative to the corners on those, now is the time before you glue them down, but you can always do it afterwards as well. Okay, and then last is going to be our closure piece, and that closure piece had measured 3¼ inches, no, 5 inches wide by 3¼ inches tall, and we had that little 1/8 of an inch gusset right there. Okay, and you can choose to put this on the outside, just like so, and end up having it here, but I'm not going to do, actually I'm not going to do the closure just yet. So let's open up this pocket booklet page, and then let's move on to the next section, which are the large pieces that are going to go right on here. So first we're going to grab what was the left flap, and that measured 12 inches wide by 10½ inches tall. And when I was doing my scoring, I forgot to do the scoring that's on the cut guide for the top and the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And if you scored along with me, then you're going to do it now as well. So put the paper back in the scoreboard at 10½ inches, and let's score it at 1/2 inch all the way down, and at 10 inches all the way down, just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut off that 1/2 inch strip, with the exception of this little piece here that is the 2 inch wide section. Okay, so let me show you what I'm doing. Take my long scissors and I'm going to cut off. You can put this in your cutter as well if you want to, but I'm just going to do it this way. Cut all the way to that score line, just like that. And then I'm going to do the other side as well. Alright, now that those are off, you're going to have that 1/2 inch flap right there, and that's what we're going to put glue on initially. Put that away. And then you're going to have these little 1/2 inch flaps here that we need to burnish down as well, and that's going to create a pocket, or a tuck pocket, okay? So, first things first, we're going to go ahead and put glue on this little 1/2 inch strip here. Okay, that tucks underneath, and that fold is going to line up with the outside edge of your album. Okay, I am centering it top to bottom, just like that. And now these little 1/2 inch strips are going to come in this way. Am I doing it the right way? Let me make sure first. Wait, that's going to go back. Fold back and then fold under, Nicole. Yeah, okay, so make sure you fold this backwards. So we're going to fold these back first, these little 1/2 inch strips, and then we're going to fold this little 2 inch section back behind, okay? Just like that. All right, next you're going to grab your right flap, I called it, and this measured 9.5 inches by 9.5 inches, and you only put one little score line, and this is going to end up going on this side as well. So let's put this 1/2 inch, put glue on it, a folded edge on the right hand side. We're just stacking it up on top of that last piece, and line it up top and bottom, just like that. Okay. Open it up just like that. Then you're going to have your pocket. This measured 10.5 inches wide by 4.5 inches tall. We're going to tuck back those side pieces, and this is going to go right. Yeah. No, it's right the first time. Keep it open. Right here. Okay. You can choose to do it here. I'm doing it, or you can choose to do it here since it was an overall measurement. Let's see. Do we want to change it? Maybe I want to change it. No, I want to do the mat. No, I'm going to stick with my original thought process here. Okay, and that's going to get tucked up right against that score line. You might want to do a dry fit on that one just to make sure that you're not going to be too long. Make sure you line up the bottom. Alright, now we have that pocket, we have that flap, and now we put the closure on. So the closure is going to go on top of this, just like so. You have that 1/8 of an inch gusset. This pocket page is going to get closed, and that's going to hold the pocket page together because we're going to use the magnets. That's a lot of glue. I'm just, again, eyeballing this in the center is fine with me. Oops, that was definitely a lot of glue. Alright, and now for the magnet. Right, I'm going to place my magnet like so. Just like that. I do like to use double-sided tape to place over my magnet. And then for the second one, let me take off this little backing piece. Yep. Place that second piece of double-sided tape upside down, and then let those magnets fall on top of each other. And now I have the sticky side up, and I can close this closure, but make sure that you have your little gusset folded backwards so that you don't make it too tight. Okay? So that this gusset is basically standing up straight. And just like that, you have your two magnets together, and that's going to hold that closed. And again, if you wanted to round those corners or do a decorative thing on the corner, probably should have done it already, but you know. Oh, the other gusset that needs to be standing up, would be great to be standing up, is the 1/4 inch gusset over here when you go to place your magnets down. Okay, but that should hold that closed. And now we're going to move on to the opposite side, and we're just doing a mirror image of this. So again, I'm going to go ahead and start with all of my booklet pocket page and put those together first. So let me go ahead and do that, and I will put this on fast speed. Starting with the back flap that has the 1/4 inch gusset inside of this page. I want it to mirror the other side, so I'm going to use my ruler here just to make sure that I am straight across. And make sure that I'm not in that gusset here for the spine. Okay. Next, I'm going to have my pocket page. Remember to place your fold to the inside towards the spine so that your pocket is on the outside. Line up the outside edge and then burnish that down. Okay. Then we have our two flaps. It's going to open towards the inside. So we're going to place glue on that 1/2 inch flap, and the folded edge is going to be on the bottom of the pocket that you just placed down. So you line up the cut edge on the outside of the pocket. Okay, so it opens like that. And then we'll have, yep, opposite way, the next flap piece. So we're going to have the folded edge towards the outside this time. Again, it's a mirror image of the opposite side of this folio. Okay, now I'm going to open that back up, and I'm going to place my two pockets. Let me burnish this well. Place my two pocket pieces. Where are they? There they are. Right, and I placed those on the back side of that first flap. So it's going to go here. Line it up with that outside corner and the bottom. Oh, extra glue, Nicole. Heavy-handed here today. Must be because I was pulling weeds in the garden earlier. Alright, now we have those double pockets there. That closes. We have our 1/4 inch gusset right here. We're going to go ahead and open this up. We're going to place our deconstructed flaps, top and bottom, eyeball center. Place that one on the top. Just make sure it's all the way at the top of your page. There we go. And we're going to place this one down at the bottom. And again, I'm going to use my ruler to help me align this right here when I glue it down. Okay. Burnish that really well. Great. Now we're going to move on to the left flap again. That, of course, I need to do my scoring that I hadn't done before. So again, I'm going to place this in the scoreboard with the 10.5 inches at the top. And I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch and at 10 inches. All the way down. Take my long scissors and go ahead and cut off that 1/2 inch, almost nearly all the way, but leave that little 2-inch section again. A little hard to see the score line, isn't it, on this light paper? Put that off to the side. Alrighty. We're going to go ahead and place glue on this 1/2 inch strip. Place that to the outside of our album cover, centering top to bottom. I'm going to fold these little 1/2 inch strips back and then fold that 2-inch piece behind the page. Okay, give it a good burnish there to be out of the way. Alright, next we're going to take our right flap is what I called it, and let me check this one. Yeah, the folded edge is going to be to the outside of the album. So the folded edge is going to be on my left side. Line it up top and bottom. And give that a good burnish. Line that up top and bottom, but you should see that little 1/2 inch reveal of the page underneath. Okay. All right, open that up. Let me give that one final good burnish there. All right, then we're going to move on to the pocket that goes down here. Line that up to the outside edge of the page underneath, and then the bottom. And you should be, again, just short of that score line. You can close that up and reburnish there. Okay. All right, and lastly, you're going to have this closure. Make sure that you don't put glue on that 1/8 inch. My goodness, lots of glue. Make sure you don't put glue on that 1/8 inch gusset. We're going to go ahead and place that down here to the outside of the page. And again, I want to try, look, I'm much lower here. To line it up best I can. It's 3 1/4 inches from the bottom. So let's do that. Very good. All right. Make sure that you stand up that 1/8 of an inch gusset there. Close that pocket page there. Make sure you stand up that 1/4 inch gusset that's on the inside here. So they're both standing up straight. And then we're going to use our magnet again to hold this closed. So let me grab my magnets. Get into another pack here. There we go. All right. Let's see what we do here. I'm going to do a little trial here. Yeah, okay. Peel off the backing. What I was trying to do is make sure that these magnets weren't going to fight each other when the book is closed. Oop, that didn't work. Where's my tape? I'm going to place that pretty lightly for now. Okay. Move that down just a little bit. All right, we're going to work together. Yeah. Get another piece of tape. Put that tape down here, sticky side up. Put that magnet on top. Make sure those gussets are standing straight up, and then press down. Glue all over my hands. All right. Now that opens up, and this folds closed, and there is our album, our 10 by 10 album with the 1 1/2 inch spine here. You have plenty of space for this to grow. And now for the lovely decorating, including all of those inserts that you had. So I forgot to show this pullout at the beginning. So that's another pullout, just using some leftover pieces of the pattern paper and another spot for a 4x6. So I hope that you have enjoyed both the tutorial and the walkthrough of this project, and thank you so much for allowing me to make these projects with you, and I hope it inspires you to use up your paper collection and play along. Until next time, everyone, happy scrapping you all. Goodbye.